Investigating simple harmonic motion with a pendulum is a standard A-level practical, and it's a really straightforward setup. So in this case, I have a thin piece of thread which is attached to a metal bob, and this is the thing which is going to be oscillating backwards and forwards. And I have this at the top between two blocks. Now you might use a couple of bits of wood in the lab. I've just got a couple of bits of Lego. And the reason is that this allows us to easily change the length of that pendulum because you can pull the string through the blocks and then just tighten up the clamp again. But the other thing is that it also allows you to take the whole thing down, and this means it's much easier to record the length of that pendulum. Now, it's worth noting that the length of the pendulum isn't just the length of the string, it's from where the string is attached to the blocks to the centre of mass of the bob. And sometimes if you take it out and you maybe put it down statically, you're going to get a much more accurate reading than trying to hold the ruler up to this. And of course, in this setup that I have here, I've got a relatively short pendulum, but you can go much longer because the length of that pendulum can actually hang over the edge of the bench, and so you could even have a pendulum which is about a metre long. And I would say that if you're going to be doing this in class, you want to choose a good retort stand, maybe clamp this onto the bench, and that means there's going to be no kind of movement at the top end, and that's going to again help you get some good results. Now the other thing down here is I have a fiducial marker. So this, at this time, I'm just going to lower this down ever so slightly. This is something which is going to be pointing to the equilibrium position. And this is a position where the pendulum bob is going to be moving the quickest, so it spends the least time at this position. And that's again going to get us some good readings when it comes to recording the time period. If you were to start and stop your stopwatch when the pendulum got to its highest point, the pendulum would kind of slow down. It would stop for a very, very small amount of time and then move back in the other direction. And there's going to be quite a lot of uncertainty about when exactly it stops. And so what you want to be doing is starting and stopping the stopwatch as the pendulum is at the midpoint, which is when it's moving quickest. And that's going to, again, reduce any uncertainties in the measured value for time. If we have the pendulum oscillating through a small angle just like this, we can use the formula that says t is equal to 2 pi root L over g. And if we then square both sides, we can say that t squared is equal to 4 pi squared over g multiplied by L. And what we can then do is we can plot some data of t squared and L. Now, in order to get the data, in terms of t, what you might be doing is taking the time for at least 10 oscillations. So that's going to be the time for 10 oscillations in seconds. We can then divide that by 10 to get the time for one oscillation, and that's going to be in seconds. And then we can square it. So you've got t squared in seconds squared. And of course, the length of that pendulum, like our kind of standard SI units, is going to be measured in meters. And what you can then do is you can plot a graph of t squared against L. And what you should get is you should get a straight line that goes through the origin. The reason being that looking at the equation up here, we've got t squared is 4 pi squared over g times L. And that's in the form of y equals mx plus c. Now, of course, the intercept is going to be 0, or it should be 0, and that then means that the gradient is equal to 4 pi squared over g, and that means once you've worked out the gradient, you can use that to find a value for g, which should be about 9.81. So for this experiment, you can alter the length and see how that affects the time period in order to verify the relationship. You can also maybe look at how the mass of the pendulum and the amplitude of the oscillation is going to be independent of the time period. But this is just a standard A-level practical looking at simple harmonic motion, in this case with a pendulum.